Hey guys, what's going on? We got another Enhancement Shaman PvP video. We are on the Alt Shaman. This is around 2150 or so, something like that. We're playing Enhance. We got Elementalist going on. So yeah. Anyways, we are fighting Ellie Shaman, Disc Priest, Feral Druid, Marksman Hunter, and a Holy Paladin. So here it's me and the Ellie Shaman. Our main focus is going to be on the Hunter, mainly because they are very scary when left alone. Although you can't quite shut down their damage with interrupt and stuff, you can shut it down with CC and stuff like that. So here the Druid was lagging pretty bad. I don't know what the heck was happening there, but the other Shaman got a nice lasso, shutting down the Hunter's damage a little bit. So I go ahead and start chasing him around. I see the healer stunned, so I go ahead and ground that trap, making sure my healer has free is not CC'd. So right here is the weird part. He went for the repentance, but I got the hex off, no dispel from the druid, and then we get a huge amount of damage. He feigned, but it wasn't enough. He didn't turtle, so we ended up taking him out. It was quite unlucky on his part. But here it's me and the hunter versus the Ellie and the feral druid. The main focus is going to be kind of shutting down the Ellie, but the feral is definitely a target. So I don't want to just do nothing while the feral is in stealth, so I'm gonna go ahead and just hit the shaman. Just try and get as much damage on him as possible, get as many defensives out. And so here he pushes. I go ahead and trinket that Hodge because my healer wasn't nearby and I didn't want to, take too much damage. So the shaman starts pushing around the corner, so I fall back, seeing our hunter is on the back foot getting stunned and stuff. So now the shaman goes ahead and hexes our healer, so I go ahead and dispel as fast as possible. Our healer, or their healer's trapped, but he ends up trinketing, thankfully. So I'm pushing it on the shaman a little bit. They're on top of me, which is fine. Nobody's taking damage except for me. The druid goes in for kind of a cyclone, so I go ahead and interrupt that real quick, making sure my healer's staying at a CC. And the druid comes back to me, so I go ahead and hit him rather than chase after the shaman, because I couldn't reach him with some stuff. So here he goes ahead and Stormkeepers. I kill that, interrupt the Stormkeeper, go ahead and start hitting him again. So here he goes for a Stormkeeper, so I ground, I go for a Hex, stopping his damage for a few seconds. Perfect. Nothing he can do about it. I missed the kick on the rep. I should have had that, but the priest thankfully had a death for it, so he was able to get out. So I start putting a lot of damage out, huge damage on both of them, both at half health. So, he went for a cyclone but gets interrupted on it by the hunter. So here I push in. The shaman was going for a hex on me, but I go ahead and interrupt it, push out to the shaman, but the hunter just solos the feral druid. I was like, holy, I didn't even expect that. But on to the next round, where it's me and the feral versus the Ellie and the hunter. So our main target here is going to be on the hunter because we can't quite shut down elemental damage, but we can shut down a little bit of the hunter's damage. So the feral decided to open fully on the paladin, which I didn't quite get, but it is what it is, I guess. So I'm pushing on the hunter, doing as much damage as possible. I mentioned to go hunter because that's who I want to take out and I think is the biggest threat. So here he goes for the rep. I definitely should have had that interrupted, but I get a double stun, thankfully. Our healer is just sitting CC, gets out of all of it. He's on full DR, so nothing but, I think, trap can catch him now, which is good. So here I'm still pushing onto this hunter as much as I can, but with a holy paladin, I can't quite catch him because I can't get out of slows or anything like that. So I get a primordial wave off, trying to do as much damage as I can while being far away. The feral druid's on top of all of them, splitting pressure, which is good. So here I charged in, but I can't get anything out of it. So I just start hitting the Ellie shaman, and then we start chasing after the hunter once again, but I'm absolutely slowed, unable to do anything. So here we just kind of switch to the shaman a little bit, just trying to get something out of it, get a bit of a speed boost, go back after the hunter, go for a hex here, get interrupted by the hunter. Priest gets a hex, so I go ahead and dispel, try to keep us on the offensive here. The feral backed off, which is kind of interesting. I think we should have just pushed in. The hunter has nothing left, came very close to dying there, but the priest got a nice swap off on me. Gets hexed again, so I go ahead and dispel that. I can't quite push in onto the hunter right now, so I go ahead and just push onto the Ellie Shaman, stun the hunter just to stop a little bit of damage. And since the shaman is bopped, I couldn't do anything to him either. I could have sat there and purged, but didn't feel like I could do it. So I pushed in a bit further. He was going for a hex, but I didn't end up catching it. Here I should have walled. Right here is where I should have used my wall just to get that defensive, because I end up getting stunned and I don't even know what it was. And yeah. So here they're all stacked up. This is their second burst. He grounds a little bit of damage, but here I get stunned. I'm not even sure what stunned me, because neither of them really have anything, so I'm not quite sure what got me there, but I should have walled way earlier to reduce the amount of damage I was taking in general. It was a mistake on my part, or else we would have had that. So now it's me and the Ellie Shaman again. We're going to go after the hunter, and we're just going to try and keep this feral druid from cloning as much as possible. So here, it must be the hunter's concussive shot or something. So here the feral is pushed in really, really far. We get him very close, but the priest is able to catch him. Very lucky on his part. So we go ahead, send a lot of damage, because I can't get to the hunter at the moment. I'm just putting damage into this feral, and I get cycloned here. I go ahead and trinket, just don't feel like setting a cyclone. Here the hunter, I should have had grounding ready, but I had used it already. I don't remember on what, but yeah, I should have saved grounding for trap. But now I'm finally on top of the hunter, and I should be able to just stick to him the entire time. And they're pushing onto the healer a little bit, but nothing to worry about because he's got bubble. We miss a kick on the clone, so I eat clone. But since I am cloned, I'm not taking any damage, and the feral just kind of swapping clones, which is interesting. Not very helpful with a hunter, I don't think, because especially with him trying to push out damage and stuff like that, didn't seem like it was helping too much. But it's solo shuffle, so you kind of get those weird mistakes or whatever. So here we get really, really close, but since the mid bash I couldn't pressure, so I switch back to the hunter, trying to put some damage, hide behind a wall so he can't hit me. There he went for a rapid fire on the Ellie Shaman, gets a nice cap totem. He jumps behind the pillar, so I'm gonna jump behind the pillar too, try and stop as much damage. I'm very close, gets a lay on hands at the last second, thankfully. So here is where the feral druid makes a mistake, so we get him to push back a little bit. So here I should have walled right away. Just to save my healer from panicking a little bit. Would have been very, very helpful. There I knocked the hunter to cancel his aim shot, and the Ellie Shaman just solos the feral druid. Quite lucky there. But I don't know what it is, but I keep forgetting to wall at when we're that low. I don't know. It's really weird. But every time out of the gate, this Ellie Shaman casted Stormkeeper and Spirit Walker's Grace, which was interesting to me. So I'm not sure what that was all about. But anyways, we want to get back onto this hunter, do as much damage as possible. So here, start pushing damage into him as much as possible. Huge amount of damage. We get pain suppression, we get hunter wall. We're just doing damage to him. That's what I want. I want to see. So we get scattered here, and there's something. So here the shaman is trying to put our healer in CC. There's double wall, so I go ahead and knock. This is where the pally should have ran towards us. I feel like he should have came with us to put pressure on them. And now he didn't get CC'd or anything, but it looks like he gets binding shotted and then trapped, but the feral goes down, unfortunately. So we did have a lot of cooldowns to use, but it was a bit unfortunate. But on to the last match. Myself, the hunter, and the Ellie Shaman, and the feral druid. So, like usual, we want to shut down the shaman's damage as much as possible. But the feral is also a big target, so he's pushing everything into our hunter, and I'm just pushing all the damage into him. So the feral comes close, so I swap to him, and I see our healer is in a fear, so I go ahead and tremor. He gets hexed, so I trinket dispel, I didn't want to, even though it was only like a second or two left, I didn't want to take a chance of the hunter getting deleted because it does happen. It does happen. So I wanted to trinket, dispel that, off we go. So he put a whole bunch of pressure onto the Ellie Shaman right here, getting a whole bunch of defensives and everything. So he pushes away. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and swap to this Feral Druid. The hunter gets cloned in the middle, so that means he's not a target right now. And I'm going to dip behind the pillar, avoid the Elemental Shaman's damage. So we get a whole bunch of damage onto this Feral. There's the second pain suppression, so I swap to the Elemental Shaman, and this is where the hunter just deletes him. Boom, gone. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Laters!